Here's a solar eclipse interpretation. My name is Donna Page and I'm with Loving Light Astrologer. Okay, so the solar eclipse is an intense new moon. And its universe is like, think of it as a beam of energy that is a burst that's intensifying that we can pick up on. And with that energy, there's a particular message that comes with this. And of course, what astrologers do is interpret the messages. And the message of this solar eclipse has a lot to do with Saturn, because Saturn's been traveling through Scorpio, and Mercury. And it is emphasizing the theme that has been going on and off throughout the whole of 2013, which is a yod configuration or the finger of fate. Here is the finger of fate. What a yod configuration is that when you have two planets that are 60 degrees from each other. So we have Mars at 11 degrees and the solar eclipse, which is the sun and the moon, at 11 degrees. And then you have a planet from each of these points that's 150 degrees away. And we have Uranus at 9 degrees, 22 minutes. So it's not exact, it's within 2 degrees. And that is called a yod or a finger of fate configuration. Think of a dowsing rod. Have you seen those old timers that look for water with pieces of stick? And in the piece of the stick, here's one piece of the stick and you put your hand here. You put your other hand on imagine putting your one hand, grabbing a piece of the stick on Mars, the other piece of the stick on the sun and moon, right? It's a Y configuration. And then from the stick, like the branch of a tree. So here's a branch of a tree that's coming out, and you grab these two ends. Here's the other part of the stick or the branch that points to the well, that points to where the vibration, to where the water is. And that piece is Uranus. And so when you're grabbing the inner sense of the sun and the moon, the sun in our life is the essence of what we are meant to express in life. The moon is our emotional well-being, our emotional body, our well-being. And the sun is our will, our spirit. Mars is the ability to go out and do something. It's the will action. And the Uranian energy, where you will find the source of life, water, is through being willing for change, being willing for something different or unexpected to come into your life. And the fact that a yod configuration or finger of fate configuration itself is about being willing to be open to that which was not on your radar. So there's things that aren't on our radar, things that we don't even consider in life. They just aren't, part of our consciousness. And then sometimes what can happen is that you could meet somebody new and they bring in something you never even thought about doing or experiencing. So it's like that finger of fate. If I had never met you, I'd never move here, I'd never do this, I'd never do that. So the universe has been asking us to open up to new possibilities, extend your vision of what is possible. How do we do this with the solar eclipse? Look at where the North Node is. It's conjunct Mercury exact, 7 degrees, 7 degrees. Mercury's retrograde in Scorpio. It's with the willingness to think, to go deeply into the psychology, the depth of your consciousness, the hidden, upturning every stone, being really gutfully, brutally honest with yourself, especially about your dark side. Because the Scorpio understands that there are things in life that are hidden and taboo. Oh, we don't want to talk about that. Oh, we don't want to talk about that. Oh, no, we can't go there. Scorpio says go there. Scorpio says be willing to go to that side that you might be fearful of going to. There's an intensity here because Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Okay? So the traditional ruler Scorpio is Mars, the modern ruler is Pluto, but Scorpio is ruled by Mars. And Mars is in this configuration. But Mars is in Virgo. And Virgo is ruled by Mercury. And what you will see is that Mercury and Mars are in what's called a mutual reception. So they can work well together. And it is emphasizing, again, put some effort and energy into thinking deeply. Confront yourself. Confront what, have you ever tried to do something or wanted to do something and you were resisting it? And then you just busy yourself with something else so you don't face it? This is confront yourself. Be willing to confront yourself. And then you're going to be, so many openings and gifts can come your way if you're willing to look at what you're denying. And even if you think, I've already done a lot of spiritual work, I've done this, I've done that, the universe is saying, it's time to go deeper. It's time for more. And it's a no BS time. Conjunct Saturn in Scorpio is a lesson of reevaluating what we think or believe we owe each other. And it's more than that, but that's part of the message. If I do this for you, is there an unspoken belief that you're supposed to do this for me? It's conscious agreements. Like if I buy a membership to a club, then the club is supposed to provide working equipment. If I buy a membership, if I pay for a bunch of dance classes, then the teacher is going to be there and teach the dance classes. So there's these conscious, overt agreements, but there's all these subtle. Scorpio can have more to do with the subtle agreements. Agreements in friendships, agreements in romantic relationships, agreements in family. And be willing to look at that and see if it's still truthful, see if it still works. And there's no doubt about it. With Saturn is the reality principle, connecting with what is real. And, they say that even the spiritual masters say life is an illusion. And the new physics is supporting that, illusory idea that we live in a world of illusion. Yet the Saturn, in this illusion of the world that we live in, the Saturn principle is still saying that there's certain rules or ways, laws within, even if it's an illusion. So if you don't pay your rent, if you don't do this, if you don't have that, then there's certain consequences. So there's a certain consequence in energy with this. And it's really about being real. How can you be real and truthful to yourself? So be open to this awareness. Be open to being really confronting yourself in a very honest and truthful way. And then stay open to the possibilities. Really stay open to what's possible for yourself in life, because it can be phenomenal. And as you know, I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you're aware that there is this major Uranus-Pluto square that's been going on, is continuing on. It was exact November 1st. It will be exact a couple more times. And that is that revolutionary energy, which is emphasizing again the solar eclipse message of being willing to make some deep transformational changes within yourself that can revolutionize your world, revolutionize what you want, what's important to you. What is importance and values come from Venus. Venus is what we value, what we love. And Venus is very close to what's called the galactic center. She's going to be going retrograde on the winter solstice, summer solstice if you're on the other side, but on the next solstice. And so Venus is pretty far from the sun right now, and she's close to the galactic center. But what would it mean to have your values aligned with what's called the galactic, the center of our universe. Okay? So what is the center for you? On a global world transit type thing, this intense energy of confronting the denial and making things real and being willing to put the energy into change and being open to new vistas that aren't on your radar. Venus aligning with the galactic center is aligning your values, aligning world values for what is right and just for all. So there's an moving towards what is the being able to see the whole picture of what will forward humanity. So do that for yourself in your own personal life. What will forward you? What is aligning yourself, aligning your life with the center of your world, your universe, your values, what's good for you? And many people will be, whether or not your chart is more impacted with the solar eclipse will depend whether or not you have planets at 11 degrees, anywhere between 9 and 11 degrees, or even 12 or up to 13 degrees, and caught up in this finger fade energy. And if you look at it, look at how many planets are at either 9 or 11 degrees. We have, of course, we have Mars, 60 degrees. We have the Sun, and we have the Moon. And then 60 degrees, we have Pluto at 9 degrees. We have Chiron at 9 degrees. We have Uranus at 9 degrees. So we have many of these planets here. And here's Juno here at 9 degrees. And these are the 60, this is the 60. So when you have if you have one of your planets at 9, 10, 11 degrees, more than likely the solar eclipse energy is pushing you to be willing to be open to going in a different direction that you didn't necessarily expect, but on some level it can be fated in your life to go in that direction. And yet make sure that it's aligned, that you have aligned what's important to you, what you love, what you value most with your personal center, your center of your soul, your spiritual being, and your higher self.